So I am the first person who wants to throw out this idea of the 10,000 steps as being the way to health. I can tell you what I did do this morning. I put on my favorite music. I picked up my little 2 small pound weight. I put them in. I didn't do anything fancy around the room. Used my arms, biceps, and triceps, and then basically did some other movements for about 10 minutes. I timed it. So I didn't go to the gym. I didn't work out for 45 minutes. I did solid 10 minutes with weight, all before my coffee, right after having a glass of water. And here's what the research says about this 10 minutes. It really counts. In fact, it really counts in protecting my brain, my heart, my muscle mass, and my longevity. And if you've been feeling like exercise is something that you're failing out, here, I'll raise my hand as the very first person. I'm failing at exercise. I have a hard time finding exercise fun. I don't like going to the gym. I feel very judged. And I also have very sore joints. I got poor knees and sore. So I don't want to be killing myself every day. I want to do something I know that's going to help me and it's genuinely meaningful. That is what I think is so powerful. The science has shifted, and the shift is telling us what is more important. So my name is MC. I come here each week. This is Healthy by George. I talk about all things aging so that we can be the very best version of ourselves. And I'm giving away a free ebook all about chronic pain and treatments that don't involve pills. So check out the link in my bio, check out the link in the description here, and go get your free copy. I'm giving away 50 of them. It's the most comprehensive, detailed description of all things that you can explore for chronic pain that don't involve taking a pill. So please subscribe, please, and share. I would love to see you here each week. And I would love it if you would get a free ebook from me about chronic pain and treatments that are not taking a pill. So guess what? I have thrown out my step counter. That's 60 years ago. A Japanese company launched this walking device and they named it the 10,000 step meter. And their slogan was, let's walk 10,000 steps a day. That's where it came from. Not a clinical study, not a research finding, not a public health guidance developed by science. It was a marketing campaign for a pedometer. And yet this number, 10,000, it's stuck. And it's become embedded in the fitness culture. And guess what? It's in our smartwatches. It's in on our phones. It's in all these wellness programs that are about. And truthfully, it's an invisible benchmark that many people measure that they've been successful or they haven't by what they've met as far as their step goals. And for many older adults, particularly those like me with joint pain or have mobility challenges or fatigue, can be discouraging that this is something you just never meet. But let's replace it with some real research, okay? How about a 2025 systematic review in the Lancet that looked at number of studies, 57 of them, that found that significant health benefits, including reduced risk for mortality, reduced cardiovascular disease, reduced type 2 diabetes, reduced cancer, dementia, depression, reduced physical function decline, and falls are all observed with step counts well below 10,000. In fact, they cited that the sweet spot was 7,000 steps a day. And those proved to be more clinically meaningful with these types of good outcomes. And then after that, but for older adults specifically, like myself, the research is more generous and the health benefits tend to plateau around 6,000 steps to 8,000 a day. So let me tell you what that means. If you're walking somewhere between 6,000 and 7,000 steps a day, that's about 2 to 3 miles a day. According to the best available research evidence out there, You're doing a good job. You're in the zone where movement is generally protecting your health. But here's a finding I want every single person watching this to hold on to. Moving more than your current level right now, even by 500 to 1,000 steps, can make a measurable difference in long term health and energy. But it's not really the 10,000 steps that you're currently doing that's going to be making you fundamentally better. So let's talk about this concept that has genuine change, that walking 10,000. It's this thing that I just love that talks about, and it's the exercise snack. I do love this term because I can deal with an exercise snack. I don't need to go and have a full exercise meal. A short, intentional burst of physical activity that I can do anywhere from 30 seconds to 10 minutes, done it throughout the day, or maybe I just don't plan it. I just feel bored. I get up and do a snack. How awesome is that? Not like a workout, put on special clothes, all that. In fact, I love watching Lenny Kravitz. I think he was wearing leather pants and some weird top, and he's in the gym, some heavy weights for about 5 or 10 minutes. Hey, he's having himself a little health snack, right? In another study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine in 2025, they also found that this idea of bursts of moderate to vigorous activity lasting 5 minutes or less, done at least twice a day, may be the best effective way of boosting your cardiorespiratory fitness. And it can be even more beneficial in adults who tend to be sedentary. And here's what the research found particularly significant. Adherence to this type of movement throughout the day meant that people really did it. They really found the process of doing it more achievable. And I think that's enormous. It's better than gym, and you're not sticking with it. It's intermittent. It's now and then. And that's a barrier. So this idea, perceived lack of time, or low motivation, can all be dealt with by this idea of these short bursts of exercise stacking. And the truth is, most people can find 5 minutes, right? Can't you? I can. And most people cannot find an uninterrupted 45-minute workout window, or go look for the appropriate clothes or the shoes, or figure out a way to get to the gym. And the whole process for me it weighs me down. And so every single day, instead of making the decision to figure out a way to go to the gym, I'm just going to do this 5 minutes 3 times a day. I can do that. I can make that happen. So the research on what those snacks actually do for your body is remarkable. These small amounts of exercise, as little as 1 minute to 35 minutes per week of moderate to vigorous activity, lowered older adults' risks of dementia. So let's say you're hitting 4.5 to 5 minutes of vigorous intermittent physical activity just every day. That showed in the literature a 32% reduction in cancer. And most of that vigorous activity happened in these little bursts lasting under 2 minutes. You do 2 minutes here, 2 minutes there. Hey, by the end of the day, you've done at least 5 to 10 minutes. How easy is that? Do 3 sessions of vigorous activity at total 6 minutes a day, and you've lowered your dementia risk, you've lowered your cancer risk, and now you can also look at mortality. In those individuals who did this, they had longer lives. 3 sessions a day, brief, vigorous activity, lasting 2 to 3 minutes. Who can't do that? So I really want you to hear this, because I'm really saying this out for myself. The research is telling us that the biological benefits of movement are not locked into this long duration of getting to the gym and doing 45 minutes. They're available through small, frequent, intentional amounts of time throughout the day. Our body does not require an hour of your time to be changed by movement, but it does require our attention and intentionality and the consistency of doing it every day, even briefly. So, what does exercise and snacking actually look like? Let me give you some options across the spectrum. Here's one: a brisk 5-minute walk around the block, standing up and doing 10 squats every hour, climb your stairs outside 3 times in a row, a set of wall push ups, marching in place during the commercial break. That's what I'm doing because I want muscle mass. And this is where the change really happens. It's visible and accessible, and you can do it in 10 minutes with some simple light weights and a few sets of bicep curls, tricep curls, overhead presses, body weight squats, a plank, whatever feels good that day. And it's not a big deal. And the resistance training in the research is extraordinarily compelling, which really wants me to share this fact about the brain. What exercise does to our brain is phenomenal. Our brain health, it does begin to change. But here's what we really understand in the research. Regular physical activity improves our brain function. It improves our memory. It improves our thinking speed, including all that mild cognitive impairment, or even if you're genetically at risk for Alzheimer's disease. This type of physical activity, these little snacks with weights, that is showing a diminished risk for these types of problems with your brain. And predominantly why is because exercise increases the volume of the prefrontal cortex and your hippocampus. These are key brain regions most associated with memory, decision making, and emotional regulation. And the exercise stimulates neuroplasticity, which is what I've spoken about before. This is our ability to make new connections in our brain. But here's what is most fascinating and gives me a lot of hope, and I hope it gives you hope too. Exercise triggers the release of a protein called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And researchers often think of this as fertilizer for the brain because it promotes growth and survival of neurons. It supports learning and memory and appears to be one of the most primary biological pathways that we have seen that will definitely protect you against cognitive decline. And the new research on exercise in these short, brief snacking, it is specifically showing how it does make cognitive function improved. In a 2025 study found that older adults who participated in these types of short bursts of exercise of 2 to 5 minutes had higher mental function, which means their brains benefited by these brief moments of movement more than intentionally going to the gym once a week. People who don't do any moderate to vigorous exercise, they even improved more, even with these very small amounts of movement. So, in other words, if you've been largely sedentary, maybe you've had bad knees like me, or you had bad, hey, take it as a snack. Do snacking. The body and your brain are going to respond immensely. And you don't have to make it to 10,000 steps outside. You still have a large opportunity to improve. So if you're worried about any kind of Alzheimer's or cognitive decline, there is a study that was called EXERT. It was a major clinical trial from Wake Forest that found something remarkable. Cognitive function remained stable over 12 months for participants in both low intensity and moderate and high intensity exercise groups, which means even light exercise that appears to be protected. So we don't have to be heroic. Light exercise, 2 to 5 minutes do it consistently in a way meaningful for you. And how does that look in your life? I'm not going to pretend I don't have a perfect fitness routine. What I have is the ability to put on my favorite show, either a crime junkie podcast and I will do these bursts of exercise throughout that show, something I enjoy. I keep my dumbbells nearby, my little weighted vest, and then I have a kettlebell as well so I can carry that around. And I don't change my clothes too much. I stay in whatever I'm wearing. I just change my shoes. So if you have weights that are in your closet, let's dust them off, get them out, put them someplace you can see. Do a 10-minute, do a 3-minute, whatever it is that will get you started. Do it before a meeting. Do it after you eat lunch. Do it while you're waiting for something. Whatever it is, just move. Whether it's squats, weights, walking in place, marching, pushing up against the counter or the wall, I have become encouraged for myself, mainly because this has been a big struggle of mine. So when I get the coffee ready, I'm doing calf raises. If I'm suddenly on the phone with my brother, I'm walking around the apartment with my kettlebell, carrying it and changing hands so that I'm doing something that's like a farmer's walk. If I'm waiting for my computer to reboot, I get up and do several squats. This is how we have to do our exercise. It's almost like you don't have to even think about it. Then don't judge it. So you do 2 snacks today, they're 2 minutes, do 3 tomorrow, do 1 the next day. Do something, a little something. And the practice is not about being perfect, but it's about consistency. Every time, come back to it, whether it's been an hour or a week or whatever it is, just start. Do 2 minutes of walking in place. That's the key. So for those of you thinking about what kind of movement to do, throw that out. Do whatever it is. Do a brisk walk. Do some steppings in place. Dance in your kitchen. Whatever it is that makes you feel happy. And it all protects your heart, your brain. It reduces your dementia and it improves your mood. And hey, it makes our brain better, right? I love it. And use some weights every now and then or bands or whatever it is. Use your body weight. Everything counts. And that's what's most important. And I think that's the good news. And we can throw the 10,000 steps out the window. And of course, always, if you haven't been exercising for a while and you've been sedentary, check with your doctor. Tell them that you want to start doing this. And especially if you have joint issues like me, or you have a heart condition and you haven't been active, the goal is always to do something that's sustainable and that you're not going to be injured. And I want to wind up here by saying this, and I really believe this with all my heart. The story we tell ourselves about exercise matters as much as the exercise that we do. So if we're telling ourselves, like me, I'm someone who can't exercise, or I missed too many days to start again, or I never get those 10,000 steps in, so it's just impossible, but throw that out. Open the window and toss it, because the news story is you don't need an hour. You don't need a gym. You don't need 10,000 steps. You don't need to get your heart rate up to a certain number. You just need a snack. I like that. A few minutes intentionally moving with weights or without weights, up your stairs, around your kitchen, in your living room, before you drink coffee, after you drink water. This is all enough to change your cardiovascular health, protect your brain, and do something to lower your cancer risk and start to increase and build your muscles to preserve them as we get older so that we stay stronger and independent. And if you haven't started, okay, start tomorrow or start right now. The key, you haven't missed the boat and we're all right on time. Start by doing a minute even to get going, whatever it is. Just get in the habit of small exercise snacks throughout the day. And remember, have this one precious life. Let's live it to the fullest so that we're the very best version of who we are at our 80s and 90s. pace. And you can start as small with your exercise as you need to. If it's 30 seconds of walking and standing in place, do something, my friend. So please share, subscribe. I would love to see you here each week. And I will see you next time. And don't forget, go out and take an exercise snack. And please get your ebook, The Chronic Pain Without Any Pills ebook. The link is in the notes. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
So thank you so much for joining me at Healthy by George. I hope you found the information inspiring and that it encourages you on your wellness journey. Because remember, your body, your well-being are a most precious gift, and every tiny action taken daily can make a huge difference. I hope the information here is educational purposes and is not meant to replace your medical care. See your doctor and talk about what works for you. If you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Your support means the world to me, and it helps me continuing creating content that inspires and empowers you to live your best life. Goodbye for now, and join me again at the next Healthy by George.